Okay, hello everyone. This is gonna be a very different video. Well, not very different video, but it's gonna have some spiced out things. First of all, it's gonna be about standard matches. I'm gonna cover about 2 or 3. We will see how much the video lasts. They are very quick matches between a dozen of turns, maybe less, maybe more, depending on the match. It's currently this map, I don't know, Harses Truth, I think it's called, is the third round of the tournament site that is currently happening. The tournament site has just came and a lot of people, almost 1,000 has joined. If I remember correctly, it's very hype. The folk tournament for the same similar format is coming the next month, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, just check it out on the Discord, but it's probably very near. If it's not next month, it's the very next. Anyways, I have not played this map. I know some things about the map because I have talked about it in the chat, but it's, as you can see, it's a big mixed base map. One of the coolest things you can play in a standard, in my opinion, and it's tier 3, and that means that you won't be able to play anything like Eagle, Olaf, Max or above, but you will have some interesting picks. I think this is, since it's a base mix map, day-to-days will be very relevant, like Lash could be very good. Using all this firepower since day 1. Kindle can be also very strong, but some Theos like Drake or Andy could come into place. I don't think Andy has a chance against Kindle on this map, but if you expect your opponent to pick something else that Lash or Kindle, which is likely, not super likely, but I mean, for example, JTQWN pick Drake, so it's not unheard of. Some people also pick Rachel in some matches. I think Rachel is an awful pick on this map because there are 4 bases, and with 4 bases it's very easy to make infantry ball to misdirect 2 missiles. Anyways, this is gonna be me figuring out the strategy for this map, so it's gonna be very interesting. Anyways, let's just straight jump to the first match. And here for the first match, I chose a Starduster against this guy. It's 12-13 elo match, so it's gonna be quite high. I chose a variety of elo games, nothing too low, but I think most of them, they are not ultra high top matches. Not, at least not all of them. I just choose because some of the matches in the lower elo games, there were like 8 turns victory, and it was like, okay, there is nothing to talk about here, so maybe not as fast as possible. Anyways, as you can see, there is 2 bases here in the middle, and then you have to try to join your armies with your other 1 base, which is very far apart. But okay, wait, I think I missed. No. And you also have 1 here. I thought there were 5 per side bases for any reason. But you also have here an airport, but then you have also a secondary airport that you can capture. So you have 4 bases, 2 airports. That's a lot of units. That's crazy amount of units. I don't know which is the unit count limit, probably 50. But yeah, this airport is gonna help a lot the 1 base side to hold a little bit. But the problem with pressuring 1 side is that you will be pressure on other somewhere else, and this is not like Caustic Finale. I mean, you can front switch perfectly, but it's not as easy because there are a lot of pipes, a lot of rivers, a lot of forests, a lot of mountains, so it's not as easy to do. But anyways, I just have to figure out the strategy for this map. I can tell that you have to build tanks. I don't know if you really want to build the tanks from your weak side. I mean, this tank can go here and it will be very in 2 turns in range of this 1 turn base. So you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so if you fight over here, you will be in range of 2 bases. And the opponent will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a contested area because you have this. The enemy player has 2 bases too. Also 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I bet there are gonna be a lot of fighting for these properties around here and around here, but the player that pressures first is the player that is gonna decide where the fight is gonna happen, if the second player allows them to decide. But remember, last is gonna have the upper hand until powers come into play. So Dre has to be very careful because he will get a 2-hit KO out of cities even if you sit with your tank there very easily. And the same with infantry, and Dre cannot enjoy that privilege, and he has to cap the com tower to even have a chance of 30% with 10% firepower. To get the 2-hit KOs. Stardusters builds a mech on the weak side. I don't know if I like it. This mech is gonna be able to move into the mountain, and you can place your tank in the mech range and then build a tank here. So you will protect your tank with this tank here and this mech here from these 2 tanks attack. But I don't know if he will do that. The mech on the mountain is a no-brainer, but he wills an infantry. He has a tank on the south, which looks very isolated. And I mean, yeah, the only way you stop this cap is with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's with a tank. A recon won't reach because of the planes. A recon will move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Artillery won't make it on time because it has to move and then shoot on the next turn, and an infantry neither. So if Starduster wants to deny this property, he has to will a tank here. That's why he will the tank here. This artillery is probably burst this pipe to pressure more easily this area. I mean, at this point, Stardarter seems like he's going very hard on here. He has a tank here, but it seems like he's making more efforts into this side, and he attacks. But the thing is, it's only 1 tank in range, and this is a last tank. So yeah, you will be able to attack this tank back, but you are attacking into your. I mean, you are Lash. You have to be aggressive, and this tank won't be in range, only 1. But still, you will get first strike, and you don't have a tank here to answer this. I don't think I agree with that, but let's see how it evolves. Because yeah, now the artillery, you can cover it with this infantry, and boom, first strike. Yeah, it's not the best engagement, but it's a winning engagement. Okay, now this infantry has to get away from this property, because this tank wants to move here, no matter what. I don't think this tank wants to go here, because there is the 2 base. I don't think it really wants to go here. I'm guessing right now for the 2 bases against 1, which has very weird path to reinforcement. So you want to join forces with these two bases and this one into this area and maybe choke this base and get control of these properties. The same as Drake player is doing right here. I'm gonna call him JT because it's easier to pronounce. And Stardusters place this infantry on range of this last infantry, and this last infantry probably will attack, but now this tank is on range, so actually he went this route that I was guessing that he didn't want to. Maybe he wants to deflect a tank from this area, so GT doesn't pressure as much as he would like. I don't know if you know about chess, guys, but deflection is a very nice concept. I have been watching a lot of chess commentary. I have no idea about chess. I mean, I know the basics as most of people, but apart from that, I don't know many things. And concepts like deflect or pin pieces, etc. are very interesting because you can somewhat apply them in Advanced Wars via Web 2. Anyways, it seems like JT is pressuring on this side with the help of the airport. He will have at least one turn of free range because this anti-air. I don't know why Starduster will the anti-air here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it couldn't have make a difference, but this infantry could arrive one turn earlier, maybe. I mean, yeah, it could make it more nearby. So since it doesn't make a difference for the anti-air, it might make a difference for the infantry. Anyways, Drake player is being aggressive with the captures. He will be able, Lash will be able to interrupt this, but maybe Lash will something to, no, Lash doesn't just want to, Drake wants to trade, which I don't agree with because you are forcing trades and you are not gonna, you are, I don't like this. Okay, let's check this situation here. Now the Drake player is taking control of this area and he answers this tank with this tank here, so this tank has to be careful. If there wasn't a tank here, this tank could try to make these artilleries uncomfortable with the help of this, and yeah, but at the end of the wall you are exerting pressure here, so it's natural to build a tank. So, but at least this tank gives Starduster space to capture this property, and the income is equal right now. Starduster starts to capture the com tower, and Drake still has not the com tower. I think it's gonna be a bit too late when the com tower comes into place. Like Starduster, whenever he sees JT is one turn away from start capturing, he can build a copter here because there is still no anti-air, and with the help of the copter he might interrupt this com tower at least for a turn, or at least miss the red or force an answer by JT. But this com tower is harder to interrupt than normally, and the reason for that is because it's on high in a border of the map. And yeah, okay, I don't know what happened here exactly, but I'm guessing one of these infantries, the one below, the one that attacked this on the mountains, attacked the pipe. The game replayer, it's not the fault of the replayer, it's the fault of the website. The logs don't register units attacking pipes, so it updates at the end of the turn. I don't know why it is like that, but it is. Anyways, Starduster wisely blocks this infantry from interrupting the com tower, which wouldn't have been the end of the wall for Lash, but it could have been definitely annoying. Next turn, I'm guessing that if Drake doesn't will an anti-air here, and he definitely will put infantry near this com tower to cap next turn, Starduster will a copter. But as you can see, this is a very dynamic map in the sense that there is a lot of fighting since the very early of the game. In fog matches and even in some standard, at turn 8, 9, 10, there is no fight. There is like maybe a recon interrupt or yeah, that's it. But in this map, the reinforcements are very short because the bases are all over the place. If the bases were here in a corner against in a corner, it will take so much for fights to take over. But mixing the bases makes it so much more dynamic. So even at turn 1, 2, there is already so much decision making, because when maps have the bases very far apart, the first maybe 5-6 turn, yeah, there is some decision making, like okay, I go transport instead of recon, so I capture more, but there is not such it's just much more slower. That's it. And this artillery, let me check why it didn't go here. I mean, you could have placed this artillery here instead of here. It's protecting this infantry from the tank attack, I guess. But I mean, this artillery, you cannot place it here because of this tank. So you have to place it somewhere near to protect this artillery from this tank. Yeah, this artillery was to protect this infantry. So now this tank is protecting this infantry and this artillery is protecting this infantry. So if you want to interrupt this com tower prematurely, attacking the infantry, you will have to take a first strike on your both of tanks. So now Drake will have a healthy infantry to start the capture, most likely. Let's see what Starduster does. He has the com tower. He starts capping the airport. I mean, you will get killed, but you have to use these two units to do that. And you will be able to bring reinforcements. I mean, this tank is just quite not in range to even attack the infantry from the forest. And if it was more near, you could attack from here with the tank, and the infantry doesn't matter. There is so much going on this game, and I'm going quite fast. But to be fair, I want to cover more matches, because I don't think we are gonna just make a theory out of, I mean, for one match, so much happening. Okay, so yeah, as I said, Stardust now has the copter, but now comes the anti-air. But the thing is that if you start capping, now imagine you put the infantry here and you start capping. You can go this way with the anti-air and then block. I mean, this copter will die if it interrupts the cap. So, I mean, you have to force anti-air, because this is one less tank at the end of the wall. And this copter, yes, cannot do anything against the copter, but it will deal with this copter here. So this copter can go now this way and deal with this copter. Okay, this infantry here was probably about to die, so sacking it into this infantry to slow the capture game, I think was a smart idea by Drake. Because your infantry are gonna get picked up by the superiority of tanks, and the tanks then are gonna be covered by the artillery and the next coming tanks. So I think it's wise, if your infantry is gonna die anyways, even if you are on your weak side, at least make them shoot so they do some damage. And the best thing you can shoot with infantry is other infantry. And Drake wields a medium tank on his strong side. So now Lash is being pressured a lot on this area, but she's exerting a lot of pressure too here. Let's see who cracks the, how you would call it, the other one first. I don't know exactly with this what is this artillery doing, but at the end of the day there is no much. I mean, if you put it here, these two tanks will 2-hit KO this tank, and the next tank that is yeah, if you put it here, 2-hit KO, and the next turn we'll have to move away from this base range. So if you put it here, it's not in the 1 turn range of the base, so you can stay there with the artillery. If you put it here, you will have to move next turn. Even though you will not get hit, you will have to move because in the very next turn you will get hit. So yeah, and this one is protected by the only tile that can be attacked is from here, because this tank won't die because you cannot 2-hit KO. This tank you can 2-hit KO it, but this artillery is being covered by this artillery. So I like a lot the artillery placement by Starduster, because you cannot kill this tank. You can kill this tank, but this tank is covered by this artillery. And if you kill this tank and then want to attack this artillery is covered by this artillery, and you cannot attack this artillery. So it's beautiful. Let's see. Okay, you will artillery. I mean, what are you gonna do if you don't will artillery? Maybe a medium tank of your own that... I mean, if you wheel a medium tank here, you won't be able to wheel... I mean, you have to wheel an anti-air here, because this anti-air doesn't want to stay here. And... yeah, you cannot afford to wheel a medium tank here. That means you have to wheel infantry in the other bases. Okay, first strike on both tanks. Infantry harassing mechs, that's why mechs are not very good. Tsunami for the tempo play. Now everything is hard. Look at how much damage the tsunami dealt. It dealt almost 10,000, but right now it means that Drake has 10 defense, 10 extra damage to do in this turn. Enemy units are weakened. Yes, it's not as good as the superpower, but still, if he is gonna go aggressive, this is the tempo play. If he wants to win the game now, he has to do an all-in. And this also secures the com tower. Well, he would have gotten it anyways. Yeah, this is just about tempo, because now this tank cannot attack into this tank. Lass is still probably 1 turn away from the superpower, which is gonna be quite impactful. So this is gonna put Drake on the lead. for now, because last is already behind on income. Let's see. This tank dies. Yeah, you have to retreat with the tanks and try to shield for them. I don't know. So now, okay, this artillery is base blocking this base, but you will shoot this artillery, you will shoot this artillery, you will build another tank, and you have nothing to answer this. So you better bring more units into this area, or this push is not gonna succeed at all. Join caps. I don't think I agree with this join cap. At the end of the day, you are gonna get it next turn. Nothing will interrupt next turn. So you better just simply... I mean, yes, next turn, if you get attacked, you will cap regardless. But... not big fan. Okay, you stay with the tank here. I mean, this tank won't attack into this, even though it's weakened. It's on a city and it's still a last tank. It will all depend of this front right here, because Stardarter is about to crack on this front, but the problem is that how you deal with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, yeah, gets the com tower first. Boom, 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 boom. Just picking up. Start capping the airport. You won't be able to stop that. Boom, boom. Base locked. Boom, boom. Yeah, basically overwhelming the opponent. Now you can interrupt the airport cap, but you are not gonna deny it. So yeah, at this point, this push here completely failed, and the reason for that is Drake was faster at applying pressure here than Lash, and that meant that Lash put more resources here. Drake put everything into this front, and Lash what should have tried to get this. Accept the fact that you're gonna lose this and try to get this maybe, yeah, 1 turn, 2 turns later, but that was your only hope. Trying to hold on this while not securing this front is gonna make you basically lose the game, because now this is Doom and Drake can use now all his resources to help this front to not fall. And Drake will secure this front, and yeah, Lash resigns. So it seems like for now it is a base race into the corner. So whichever player applies the pressure first wins. Maybe it's a base trade. I don't know. The airport lord here is quite easy to do. Here is not as easy. I don't think so. Yeah, it's easy enough. Both are completely easy. Like in 2 turns you reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they are both as easy. Maybe this is easier than this one, because you can the path towards the airport is from this base is chokier, so you could block here and get the capture with a movement boost maybe. Anyways, let's just jump to the second match. Okay guys, this match is between Akroma and Dinas. This is not a super high level match, in the sense that it's gonna be interesting because I don't want to cover only super high level matches. And we see a Kindle pick with which I think it's a very, very good idea for this map. And Rachel is not as good as I mentioned in the intro. So yeah, but if Rachel gets a good superpower, it could be devastating. The problem with it is, I think Rachel is a weird CO in the sense that it's not as good if you are player 1 or player 2 or regardless, because it depends on what part of the map you are. Because if your enemy is on this part of the map, is much more stronger than if your enemy goes with the whole of the army on this area. The reason for that is how Rachel missiles work. They read the map for 3 things. First of all, the first missile is going to be about how much damage is going to deal in HP. It doesn't matter about funds, it doesn't matter about value, infantry, it doesn't matter. Only cares about how much damage on HP will do. Each hit will do 3. So if you hit 3 units, you will deal 3 per 3, it's 9. But if it's an 1 HP unit, it will deal 0. So you have to keep that in mind. And the way it reads the map is from here, very top left corner, and start scanning the map. Like if you were reading. Boom, 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 boom. And if there is a tie, in sense that there is 4 units here, 4 units here, and it will deal 12 and 12 HP of damage, it will hit here. The tie break will be the very first that encounters. So that's why Rachel not only depends on the map. Rachel is better on baseline maps, so you cannot build units near to your base with a lot of infantry to misdirect the missiles. But the tiebreakers sometimes are annoying to deal with, and you also get friendly fire and etc. Anyways, the second missile, it's about value. So if you deal a lot of damage in monies, it will hit there. And this is the hardest one to misdirect, because you cannot misdirect only with infantry. So you have to, for example, build a medium tank and the next turn a medium tank and put them close in your base within together, and that will misdirect most likely the enemy Rachel missile. But the thing about this one is also the tie breaks. The tie break is not as much as relevant, because being tied on value is very much less likely to happen. And the last one is infantry. It doesn't matter how much HP the infantry has, doesn't matter if it has 1 to 10, but it matters if the infantry is capping. If the enemy infantry is capping, it will count as 2 infantry. So if you have, for example, a lot of infantry here gathered, it will hit there. So that's a very nice way to misdirect unless one of the missiles. If you are doing it well enough, you will misdirect to the HP and the infantry one. And in maps where there are a lot of bases, that's easier to do. I don't know about the base mix map. It's harder because all bases need to use their units to do something. You cannot stay back for a few turns with a group of units. And also the lag damage from Rachel can be very threatening. Like, for example, how much was it? It was like 30... Was 30 extra damage? 30 extra damage up to 30, right? Let me double check, guys, because I'm not completely sure. And
It's 3 damage.
It's 3 HP of damage? Yeah? Thank you.
Yeah, and it goes down to 0.1.
Okay, thank you. I'm streaming this on Discord while I'm recording, so that's why there is people around here. I'm just saying for the YouTube sake, so someone understand why you answer me. Thank you. Anyways, let's let's jump to see what Acroma and Danais do. Going for the bases. First of all, building infantry. And yeah, now Danais has the option to wheel a vehicle first, a recon, but I don't think it's a good choice. Kindle has the same option, but she opts to keep wielding infantry. And now you can base skip for a tank, and it happens. I didn't know it. Oh no, okay, no. I was looking at the income, guys. I thought that she had 8. Anyways, she chooses to wheel it here. She is player 1, so she will have the advantage to choose where is the first vehicle wheel. And now Kindle normally wants to answer this, so you will be the one being pressured first, as the same way as Drake was in the last match we saw. So that's an advantage in base mixed map could happen, but Kindle ignores that and wheels a tank here. And I like the fact that he built this infantry here instead of here and the tank here. The reason for that is if you build the infantry here, this infantry will take 3 turns to reach this, but I don't know if you really mind that, because you will want to capture this chain with this infantry anyways. But let's see what denies that. Okay, she has to go for this airport as soon as possible. Okay, Kindle goes for the com tower as soon as possible, and he will cap with the infantry that he capped here. So yeah, that's why she opted to build the infantry here instead of here, and the tank then closest to the enemy as possible, because he was planning to skip the chain cap for the com tower, which I think it's very bold move, but it might work. As we can see, Kindle doesn't care about the pressure that is being dealt here. He probably, or she knows that she has to have her plan of her own. And Rachel is doing a tank chain here, but since now Kindle has the copter here, the pressure is completely gone. She cannot start capping here. This is a free infantry unless you will an anti-air here next turn. And yeah, okay, wheels an anti-air, starts capping the airport. If you start capping this airport 1 turn earlier, you could have been probably locked if Kindle does enough pressure. If you wield the tank here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could start to interrupt this airport. So that's a nice thing to keep in mind. Another very important thing is you have to start this capture first and this one. The reason for that is this capture might get interrupted. It's not a nice idea for the green player to do that, but it might happen. So just better heal that problem before it even threatens to be happening. And since Rachel is forced to wheel an anti-air to keep this infantry safe, which was not necessary to be here, in my opinion, you could have placed it on the mountain to threaten this capture, or here, anywhere out of the range of this copter. Yeah, you will have to answer this anti-air, but you could have delayed the answer for 1 turn. Now she's 1 tank behind less, but the problem is that Kindle, in order to wheel this copter, she base skipped apparently. Let me check. No, Kindle. Let me check because I didn't notice. Kindle just forgot to wheel infantry on this base, so I don't know about that. You don't want to In a base beat mix match, it's very important to never ever base skip, and the reason for that is you have to deal pressure everywhere. If you are lacking pressure somewhere else, your opponent will exploit that weakness. So let's see. Rachel interrupts this cap. I mean, this is a very good idea. Normally it's not, and the reason for that is you are against 2 bases, 1 base. But since there is no reinforcement coming from here, it's a free infantry. So, okay, interrupt the cap to hit KO. Yeah, as you can tell, this match has much more free dudes. Both players are not respecting the other's movement ranges. And okay, another base skip by Kindle. No, the previous turn. Oh my god, I'm skipping some turns. Rachel didn't base skip, so that's good for her because, as I said, that's very bad. Preemptively anti-air by Kindle to lock this airport in instantly, which I like a lot. But okay, this copter is safe, and it's here in order to protect this infantry capping next turn. But the problem with that is that there's still 1 tank in range of this infantry, and well, you don't want to put this infantry here. If you put the infantry here instead, you will be in range of your base, and you will still be in range of the com tower anyways. So this infantry here is not a free dude, but you are exposing it, not necessarily gaining something out of it. You are allowing yourself to be first strike. Yeah, it's in range of your base, but you are in your weak side, so you have to respect that. You could have just placed your tank here in this city, so yes, you still can get 2 hit KO, but you will injure a lot one of the tanks, and maybe the 2 hit KO might not even happen, and you still will be able to attack the tank that attacks this infantry from this forest, because this infantry, as you can see, can only be attacked from this tile, because the tanks have no movement to go to the com tower, and neither this forest. But anyways, I hope Kindle stops base skipping. It's very bad for the unit count. Like, look, it's the beginning of Rachel turn, and she's already up in unit count, and she still has to wheel 4 to 5 units. So that's a huge advantage for her. I like the fact that he's capping this, even though there will take 3 turns. You are forcing your opponent to answer this. And at the end of the day, because of your opponent base skipping a lot, you have the advantage here. So you pressure that. And you cover these caps with your tank. You are going to pressure this area because there is only infantry, and the copter is warded by this anti-air, which is almost trapping it. I don't know what is this anti-air doing. You either airport lock this airport or this one, not bubbling. You have to try to airport lock one of them and then try to threaten the capture. You don't go in the middle, because now your opponent can wheel a copter from any of the airports if they want to. But Rachel does not wheel a copter. She instead goes for double tank, 2 infantry, which is perfect in my opinion. Okay, Kindle is playing for the double com tower, as we can completely see right now. I see the appeal of that, but you are You are leaving a lot of... Why is this? Move to an airport, come on. Why you are not moving to the range of an airport? I don't like the fact that this anti-air is not moving. Yeah, it's not in range of this tank, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can put the anti-air here and it will be locking this airport. And if you need to lock this, in one turn, it will be in range of this airport. And it's the same as is right now. So if your opponent wills a copter here, you will go south, and it will take you one turn to airport leaks this. But you at least will be locking this. So you are gaining nothing by not deciding where to go with this anti-air. But let's see how Rachel does. She airport locks this, interrupts this, I like it a lot. She starts capturing this, and she won't probably be interrupted because Kindle will have to stop this cap. So even if Kindle gets interrupted, that will Kindle. Rachel, oh my god, I'm missing up the COs. That could be a win for her, for Rachel. Moving one space used so it's out of this infantry range, so you threaten this capture. I like it. It's not about doing actually something, just the threaten. It's enough to make your opponent be prepared. Your opponent has to prepare for this threat, and if your opponent doesn't prepare accordingly, you can punish it. So that's a very big difference between standard and fog. In fog you can do this, but you will need the intel, and having the intel is quite hard. But in standard you can just threaten a capture, threaten an airport lock with this anti-air that is not airport locking right now, but this one is. And then if your opponent doesn't prepare accordingly for that, you can exploit that. So that's a very important thing you have to keep in mind. In fog you play more with your strategy in mind. In standard you have to react to what your opponent is doing. You cannot have your plan and blindly follow it. Anyways, now Rachel is completely allowed to build this copter here and moves this tank here. I don't know if Rachel thought that this anti-air could reach this airport. I think Rachel doesn't know about the movement cost through forest, but that's fine. I mean, this tank is still doing something, which is gaining terrain for this tank to come in close. But now Kindle has 2 comp towers against none. And remember that Rachel has no firepower boost on day to day. So, okay. Rachel sacks 1 3 HP infantry for this capture. I don't necessarily hate it, but if you are gonna do that, you better make sure that you have backup next turn to kill this infantry, and you do these 2 copters. So I think it's fine. I don't like it because it's on your weak side and you are gonna lose. You are almost out of infantry here, but at the end of the day that infantry could not escape from enemy infantry range. It was, let me check, I think it was here. Well, yeah, it could go here, but still I think it's fine to sack it. Let's see what Rachel does. Rachel has not the comp tower, but she is pressuring a lot this part of the map. She has the income lead, and she also has the liberty to wheel copters from this airport yet. So it's completely fine because Kindle is not aware that she is not airport locking this. I don't know what is the purpose of this anti-air doing here. Go south and at least airport lock this one. But anyways, why do you attack with this 7? I mean, if you don't check the calculator, you don't know. But she should have not attacked with this 7, because now this will die to this infantry, because this infantry has a lot of firepower, and I think a 7 HP infantry on planes against 20% fire boost doesn't die, and if it dies it's a roll, but now it will definitely die. So this can be wall break, but at the end of the day you have no units in range to interrupt this, even though if there was nothing here. I like a lot how much pressure is Rachel doing here. She is punishing her opponent from being very aggressive recklessly. And a medium tank here. I think it's not a bad idea, but I could probably keep building vehicles here and overrun this airport in this base, because if you manage to pressure enough this base in order to base lock it, for example placing 2 units here, then you bring the indirect and you base lock this base, yeah, it looks very nice, because you will an artillery here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. In 2 turns you can base lock it, and then this base becomes yours, the same as this one, but this one is completely out of the danger. But now Kindle is being aggressive on the north, trying to do the same that Rachel is doing here, but Kindle is not respecting. I mean, there is no tanks in range. Okay, so it's fine. For one moment I was scared, but at the end of the day, this medium tank was quite a loss of tempo, in the sense that it's doing nothing, and on a base mix map you have to pressure from the day you build the unit, because right now this medium tank is doing nothing. It was doing nothing the turn you build it, so yeah, that's a quite big loss on tempo, and tempo in base big mix and map is much more important than in a normal match. With tempo I mean think about Advanced Wars via web as a limited actions strategy game. You can do a limited amount of things in a number of turns. For example, you have 10 turns. You will have at most a certain number of units, because you have 4 bases, 4 turns, and you have to capture the bases, so that's less than 40 units built. But then you won't have these 40 units built so instantly across the 10 turns, and each unit every turn takes 1 action. So that's, if you do the math, I'm not gonna bother because it's quite complicated calculation to do, but it's like a couple of almost 1,000 actions, and that means if you are throwing away 3-4 actions, that's less things you are doing. And if you are, for example, doing, like, for example, you kill this tank and then at the same time you are blocking, imagine there was, I mean, you have this copter, right? You to hit KO this tank here and you capture next turn and you surround this while killing the tank, then you are doing 2 things at the same time, which is blocking and killing, so that's again on tempo. Or tempo, like for example, you get threatened by a, I don't know, an anti-air, and you will attack. Now you are doing something from the very first turn of the unit. That's what I mean with tempo. Anyways, I love how Rachel is punishing Kindle for not respecting the income. Rachel thinks it's all about the firepower, but if you get too far behind on income, you will get out tech, like this medium tank here, which I don't know. I mean, the idea of wielding a medium tank, being ahead on income, and even though it's a loss on tempo, I think it's completely good, because you are making your opponent fight tank against medium tank, and even if you are behind on firepower, doesn't matter, you will win. So yeah. Look at now, right now Rachel is so ahead on income, but I mean on unit count as well, because remember that Kindle bases keep quite a lot, and I think this engagement was not necessary. You want to keep your tank fresh, but was not terrible neither. But look at now, 30 income for Rachel. The superpower is about to hit, and it's gonna hit here if Rachel has to do a couple of engagements. So I think if Rachel plays right, she's gonna win this turn. Let's hope she is able to get some power charge. She's 10k away from it, and yeah, she has some tanks in range of other tanks. She has this infantry to sack into the medium tank. This medium tank doesn't quite reach. This tank doesn't quite reach here to gain charge. But there is this tank also in range. You can sack this infantry. So I think she will be able to. But she has to be careful. She has to. Okay, she gets it. Please pop it. Pop it. Click it. Click the button. Click the button. Okay, you... Come on, click the button. No! Click the button. No, why you are using your superpower? Oh my god. Please tell me you popped the...
Tragic.
Oh, okay. You make me suffer, Rachel. And the 3 popped here. I mean... When you look at the move plan, you have to use the move planner if you are playing Rachel, because you have to know where it's gonna fall, and you don't want first pull your units in the range of the missile for 2 reasons. You will get hard, and you might make the missile for somewhere else, not for infantry count, but for value. It will discount, I think. I'm pretty sure. I would have to confirm it, but I will do it on the edit and put it here. And maybe it will fall somewhere else. I mean, there is so many tanks here, so that will not likely happen. But still, you will get hard. And also, if you pop it first, you will get the firepower boost and the defense, and you will do more damage, and you will also kill the units. And for example, if this is now a 6 HP tank and you have the firepower, if you attack it with your tank, you will kill it most likely. And that means that you will make your opponent have no unit instead of dropping to 1 HP. Because global damage, never ever, no global damage in the game. Missiles, black bones, superpowers, nothing kills units. It leaves them to 1 HP of damage, so you have to finish them off. So you better do it first and then attack. But anyways, this was devastating. Let's see how much damage on value was. It was not that much, as you can see. It was only 20,000. But if you think about it, that's the same as a superpower of Olaf or Drake, because it's 20%, but concentrated in one area. And this area is when you were pressuring all your units to win this run. So now this push is completely gone. You have no anti-air for these copters. You have only one fresh tank, and maybe you will attack this tank from here with your, but you are losing more properties. Like, you are losing everywhere now. And if you are losing everywhere on Advanced Warfare Web, you lost, because you are supposed to win in a front and lose in other front. You are not supposed to lose everywhere. But Kindle resigns after this amazing covering fire, and you have to never underestimate it. Like, Rachel is not, I don't think it's good on this map, but if you ignore the fact that she has superpower and place your units like this, you're gonna get destroyed. So never underestimate the power of the covering fire. And also, I want to see in a replay someone using the Lucky Lass, because it's a lag CO, lag dependent power, but it's 3 stars. It still gives you the 10% bonus, and at the end of the day, if you, for example, have an enemy medium tank, imagine this medium tank, and you are Lash, and you attack it with infantry. I mean, imagine a full HP medium tank is not a good example, but imagine the medium tank has 5 HP. If you attack it with 2 infantry, that's likely to do at least 2 or 3 damage, and then you can finish it off with a tank. You could have not done that with a normal CO and a tank and 2 infantry against a 5 HP medium tank. But if you have Lucky Lass, you can do that, and it's likely to happen. Like, you are supposed to get at least 1.5 HP of damage, because the average from 0 to 30 is 15 is 3 of damage, and then the tank will deal at least 1 damage because of the base damage plus the lag damage, so you will likely kill it. So it allows you to do some wall breaks, some things that are very good. And also, for example, copters are a great users of this Lucky Lass, because they don't get firebark as much as an infantry would do, so it's free, the roll, instead with the infantry, and you can do a lot of damage. Imagine you attack a copter with Lucky Lass and a comp tower on a roach, again a medium tank. I will leave the calculation here, but I'm sure it can deal like almost 6 of damage, and that's, I mean, you have to max roll, but you have to keep it in mind, you know. It's not like it's impossible to happen, but to max roll, it's 10% chance, so it's not very, you have not to account for that. If your only game plan with Alaxio is to max roll, I mean, it's very funny to do, but it's probably not gonna succeed most of the time. And one thing to mention, bad luck COs, in order to max roll, they are much less likely to do, because bad luck and good luck are calculated separately, and that means you have to win 2 rolls instead of 1 with Nell or Rachel. That means you have to roll minimum bad luck 10%, maximum good luck 10%. If you multiply that, 10% per 10% is 1%. So only in 1 of 100 cases you will max roll with a bad luck CO as Jagger, Sonya, or Flak. Most importantly with Flak and Jagger, because they are the ones that can do the difference. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'm covering a lot of standard matches lately, but I think you enjoy it, guys. I'm not as experienced on a standard, but I think I still have I think I still can say a couple of things to make it somewhat interesting. Anyways, cheers, guys.